Sure. So, is there an approximate time frame when Demon Hunters are going to be available for those that pre-purchased?
Yes.
Can you share that time frame with us?
So, I mean, the deal is we have a lot of events related to demons invading, and then we have the Demon Hunter starting experience, and all those things are going to trigger before Legion goes live. First on our order of business, though, is we want to get everything stable. We want to make sure that we're handling, the large volume of folks coming back and playing, and then we're going to start triggering some of that stuff. So don't want to be mercurial, but we really, we have the ability to turn that on at any point once the pre-patch goes out up until Legion. But we definitely want to make sure that the folks that pre-purchase that want to start leveling up their Demon Hunter get a chance to do that before we go live with Legion.
So it won't coincide necessarily right with the pre-patch experience. It'll somehow, whenever you guys feel it's right and everything's stable.
Yeah, we want to give it a little bit of time.
Okay.
We don't want to just turn it right away. Now that we have this cool technology and we can do that.
Nice.
Okay, I do Garrison Coliseum, which is the Gladiator Sanctum rank 3. Is that going to be available in Legion? And also with the Gladiator Sanctum, we can actually craft gear. So are we going to be able to craft the new gear in Legion too?
So any of the features that come from the Garrison will remain Warlords only. So we're not going to add support going forward to that specifically. That doesn't mean that we won't take a feature and kind of like update it or take some of the technology and use it in a slightly different way. But specifically, the bonuses from the Garrison buildings, they'll stay in, and Warlords of Draenor, and we won't be coming over to Legion. Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about your goals for introducing the Demon Hunter class, and what does it bring to the table for new players or existing players, for example?
The main goal was finally being able to let players fulfill the fantasy of creating a Demon Hunter, right? We see like BlizzCon after BlizzCon, ever since Burning Crusade, players asking about Illidan, players asking about Demon Hunters, players getting their picture taken with the statue of Illidan, and it was like what was so cool about Demon Hunter is like it's a WoW specific fantasy. It's not like I saw a movie about warriors or wizards and now I want to roll a mage or a warrior, right? Like Demon Hunter is a WoW specific thing, so like that made it super exciting for us, and all of the bringing back players or being exciting for new players, that's more of a secondary thing for us. Really, it's more than anything being able to play to a cool fantasy that we think many of our players had.
All right, there's another question. The spectator mode. I know there's the action cam going on. Is there any plans in the future for spectating?
Well, that's it. Spectating.
Like for example, like if you're in an arena, people can spectate your game.
So right now, the spectator stuff is only enabled for tournament client type situations. There are no plans that I'm aware of, but
not that I'm aware.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Yeah.
All right.
In regards to the Demon Hunter starting zone, so Illidan's sending us back to Mardum a few years ago, but then at the end we end up in Azuna, which is current time. How is that explained? Is there cinematics that are explaining the big time jump, or?
There is such a cool cinematic. Like, one of the things that we've managed to do in Legion right now is to not get all our cinematics data mined and be able to kind of release them when we want to release them. The side effect of that is there's a little bit of context missing.
Okay.
But having seen that cinematic, I got goosebumps. I got a little bit teary-eyed. I got So I will say that without it, that experience does feel like it is missing a little piece of the puzzle. But having said that, right, what players think happens, right?
Okay.
Like, you come back, you're at the gates of the Black Temple with the what's it called, Sargeras Keystone, and then you get imprisoned by Maiev and put away and throw away the key until of course the Legion attacks. but it's a really well crafted cinematic, and I think our players are gonna love it.
I
Yeah.
think it's cool that you guys are not putting the cinematics then in the beta for that reason, so that it can be a little bit more of an
Yeah.
exciting thing when the game launches. That's awesome.
Well, and especially like not all of our players are in the beta. It's actually a small subsection, but all of our players are curious, and they go on YouTube, and then they seeing the cutscene itself without context in a way is even like less rewarding than seeing the like. I think players that play the content right now can kind of put the pieces together of what's missing.
Right.
Just seeing a cutscene on its own might not have like the like the gravity and context to like for players to actually have that emotional response.
A question about the champion follower. I saw a video. I had no idea about that. Is it going to be a follower that we can gear out and actually use them for PvP?
Oh, so
Everything's PvP.
so one of the things that that we have in the Legion is world quests, right?
Okay.
And we have some PvP world quests. So it's only possible to use your champion in that aspect for PvP.
Okay.
Anything else like arenas, battlegrounds.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Of course.
But that's interesting. Like, certainly, which champion you choose would change based on that, because like a lot of your PvE kind of like steady, like bodyguard, just like always there, isn't quite as powerful if a mage can just sheep it. Versus like I call down Liadrin with it's very bursty, so your choices might change depending on what you want to do. So I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, the world quests that are PvP related, that will work. Yeah.
You go again. My questions have been longer.
Oh, what?
Go again. Fine.
Oh, another question. Okay, what things can be done, or are you going to do anything to make the games shorter? For example, in arenas, I have a problem with carpal tunnel. So when I have really long matches, which happens a lot, my hands hurt. So, like with the dampening, is the dampening going to continue, or are you going to do things to make the game shorter?
I don't think we have any specific plans to make the matches shorter. I mean, I think that formula seems to work pretty well. But what class do you play?
I play warrior.
Okay.
Well, most of the time, like I usually get into like 70-80% dampening, depending on what we're fighting against.
I see.
So games could last a long time.
I got it. Okay.
Well, we'll certainly take that feedback back, but as far as I know, we don't have any plans on modifying that right now.
Are you guys doing anything in particular to restore a sense of community to the game since Warlords had such a kind of like isolating feel to it? And I know garrisons aren't so central or really a thing.
Well, I
anymore,
think that was part of the impetus of let's have these order halls. Is that instead of more of a solitary experience where you're going to your garrison and you might check your followers and update them. Now you're going to an order hall with others of the same class that you are. There's an opportunity for you to upgrade your artifact weapon. There's an opportunity for you to check on your followers, interact with each other. They're spread throughout the world, so you actually have to go out and encounter things along the way. Dalaran's back, which is awesome. So you'll be able to wave and emote at your at the opposite faction.
Are you guys excited for Dalaran again?
Oh yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, we changed the underside of it too. So rogues have a really cool place to hang out, and did a nice art update. Violet Hole has been updated. So
did you guys see the movie last night?
We did. Yeah.
How did it feel to see Dalaran brought to life like that?
It was super cool.
Yeah.
Although personally, like, it was Stormwind that got me. Like the music playing, and I'm like, oh my god.
Dalaran still, when you see it kind of up in there like that, it was pretty epic.
I'm getting, like, I asked this on Twitter. I'm getting a lot of people asking me about legacy servers.
What about them?
Okay. Are there any plans to do some kind of server that's like level 60? Like just legacy content.
We've certainly had a lot of discussions and all the interest, from the fans, which is, it goes and it comes and it goes. And right now, there's a lot of excitement about it, and so it's stirred up conversations within our team as well. It's always a trade-off for us, right? How much energy do we put towards the next expansion, new content, supporting this? A lot of us, I played since the very beginning. We have a lot of nostalgic views towards going back and playing that. So I don't know that we've settled on anything yet. It's certainly something we're talking about again, because of all the interest from our fans.
Are you guys considering how to make regular weapons feel cool and interesting with the introduction of artifacts? Because it seems like you have an artifact, why does anybody want anything else? So how do just other weapons play into effect into Legion?
So that's certainly an interesting question that I don't think we'll have, both us and the players, I don't think we'll have an answer to until we've seen how Legion plays out. If you remember at the beginning of Warlords, right, like people were taking for granted that like, oh my god, garrisons are awesome and everyone's going to want garrisons going forward, like week one, right?
Right.
And then by the end of Warlords, it was a little bit like, oh, hey, I kind of want to see other people, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So I think we might not need to do anything. You might just have that impetus of like, artifacts were cool and they made sense for Legion, but I want to kind of get back that excitement from getting different drops. And I think more than anything, like players, including devs, because all of us play the game, like we respond to change, we respond to like updates, right? And I think like keeping a certain feature for forever now, right? Like I think might be the wrong decision some of the time.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Were you asking about post Legion, or are you asking during
Yeah,
Legion?
post
Okay,
Legion, I think.
I got it.
I mean, because everyone's going to use it during Legion, right? But
Right.
after Legion, is it going to, how are people going to really feel when they're like, oh, I don't get to use Ashbringer anymore. Now I got to go use random green weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
You got any more?
Well, one of the main questions that I had, let me see. Okay, the voice chat in World of Warcraft. Are you going to do anything with it to make it better?
So, voice chat system is in place now.
Yeah.
Same system we've had. From a user standpoint, it's pretty good, but obviously, as a company, we've seen some interesting technology. Overwatch, I think, uses a pretty nice voice chat system. So
That's one thing I wanted to
Yeah.
mention. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Overwatch is amazing.
we're definitely looking at that. I mean, they just obviously went live, and we'll probably take advantage of what they've learned on that. So we'd like to see an upgrade there. You won't see it with Legion going live, but we definitely, it's on our wish list of things to hit for the
That's
future.
good. That's good.
Yep.
So the storytelling is kind of going in a different route where we're using, the major leaders of the Horde and Alliance to kind of help drive it in each zone. Can you talk a little bit about like how that came to be? I mean, we had a little bit of it in Warlords, but now it seems even more prominent in Legion, especially with Sylvanas and Varian, and they're just right there on the front lines. So, what brought that about and why?
So it actually varies a little bit from zone to zone, and also class plays a big focus as well. So we have kind of like different vectors of storytelling, right? And I think what players will see in Legion that what you say is true for some zones, right? Like and you might have certain areas where it is. If I'm Horde, I'm taking my orders from Sylvanas on what to do in point A, B, then C, right? And I think players will also find that certain other zones are very much like there are multiple stories, like say in Azuna, right? Like you have a third of Azuna is about the story of these cursed ghosts, these cursed highborn ghosts, and another third is the story about the remnant of the blue dragonflight and like their struggle, kind of, and another third is about demon hunters holding back, so a group of Illidari holding back a legion front, and that's definitely one of the things that we went for in Legion. Is we wanted every zone to feel different. So that's what led us to have some zones have that major Alliance Horde impetus, and some zones have a major WoW character like Malfurion or Tehran that kind of help drive the story, and then have some zones where it's kind of like, in a way, almost like vanilla WoW, where there's lots of localized problems that might string together but kind of give you a sense of nonlinearity.
Here's where we kind of married a game system with the lore of the game, and then we have scaling, world scaling. So Luis is a level 108 player, can play with me as a level 102. We'll both get a great experience because the world will scale to us, and we have free choice of which zone we want to go to. Let's say he he loves Stormheim. He went and leveled up to pretty high level there. He's done all the quests. He'd like to go to Azuna, so we'll go do that together, and we can take things out of order. So that means that the zones themselves have self-contained stories, so like the chapters of a book that tell separate threads, but they all come together in the end.
Right. Very cool.
All right, I got to Sharmanize ask a question. How many content patches will there be that implement new raids and wings?
So we are very sensitive to providing more content, at least after we release the game with Legion, than we did with Warlords. I feel like the formula that we had with Miss Pandaria was superior, so we'd like to go back to something like that. We're not going to give exact timing on all of this. One thing I will say is that we are going to look at the timing of both dungeons and raids and when we open that up relative to where our players are, what's the next progression. We've also given them a lot of activities outside of dungeons and raids with world quests, within dungeons with challenge modes. So there's lots for you to do from level 110 on, and we're pledged to not create long periods with nothing to do in the game.
What aspect of Legion are you each of you most excited about?
You go first?
Oh man, I mean, Demon Hunter is pretty awesome. I don't want to steal your thunder because he worked on it, so I'm sure he's going to talk about that because we've been asked that question. But it's for me, it's going to be a new. I'll probably play DPS, so it's kind of a neat, very agile, melee class. Who knows? Maybe I'll get into PvP. I did some PvP, this time around with Boomkin, and that was a blast because he could basically lay slaughter on areas. So I think that's gonna be awesome. I also do a lot of alts. I run 6 or 7 up to max level, and I try to raid with at least a couple of them. So just being able to go through the quest lines for my alts and have that initial experience be unique for them and have a kind of a custom story, I'm looking forward to. I'll probably do 10 this time.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely Demon Hunter. I think haven't played the alpha. I find it hard go back to live and not have double jump, not have fell rush, not have glide, or even in the beta, right? Like switching classes. It's something that I'm really looking forward to, and I think one of the things that is also really exciting is the legendaries. I think that idea that I have that aspirational thing to shoot for that I'm hoping drops, and then something else drops that I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that, and if I pair it with this relic, having the player go into that kind of creative scientist mode where they change the way they play a little bit based on what they got. I think it's a formula that I liked a lot from Diablo, and we're adding a little pepper of it, and we're gonna see how that works and how it does here.
Awesome. Do we have any new battlegrounds?
Not at the moment.
No.
You do have a whole new PvP system with prestige and talents and
Focus went on the system.
Wait, is Ashran going to be available?
Well, it won't be turned off. I mean,
yeah, we're not removing it.
yeah.
So we can.
Is there a new Ashran-like zone, or is that just going to be the way it is?
No, there won't be a new PvP zone.
Okay.
We will have a PvP world quest. So randomly, right? Like the way the world quests work is randomly they become active and deactivate. So you might hit M and you'll see, oh, there's a PvP world quest in Stormheim, and you'll go and you'll have other regular PvE quests to do. But if you're a more PvP inclined player, you can have some of those in there, and they'll count towards your credit overall. So like if I have to do 4 world quests in Stormheim, doing the PvP one will count.
Because I'm looking at prestiging, trying to be the first prestige rank.
Yeah.
Rank. That's why I want to find out what's
Got
the
it.
max rank. I'm looking for ways to do that really fast. So I don't know if running Ashran would be the best way or doing the world quests.
Oh, I see. I don't know. I suspect that you will be telling us what the fastest way is, and I suspect it's going to be playing a lot. That's
Yeah, I know. It's going to be lots of hours. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
right on.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks,
so
Chris.
much.
That was a great
Thanks so
interview.
much.
Thanks so much.